Hey there. Welcome to Riley's Wrecks and Restorations, where old men are making mistakes, primarily around old trucks at this point. What we're working on today is actually trying to figure out what size wheels we can use on this and still clear the frame. I had some positive offset wheels on it, and you actually can see where they were rubbing the frame. You can see the pattern right there. I knew that they were just for rolling the truck around, but obviously we're going to have to do something different for driving it. So what I'm using is a wheel and tire sizing tool. It's 3D printed. I bought it from a guy in Canada. I will put a link in the description or at the tail end of this. Really neat, kind of interesting to use. And what you're able to do, and I'll show you the plate here. This is identical to the red plate here. You're able to basically set it up for whatever size wheel you're considering. Right now I have mine on 15, but you can see that this goes from 15 all the way up to 20. And that is bolted to a base plate that is attached to your wheel, so it holds it in the right position. So what you end up with is a plane where this is actually the center of the wheel. And what we're able to do is decide what size wheel we're using and what our back spacing is, or offset. And then once we get it set, we can rotate this and see if we have clearance. You'll see that I do here. And then clearly, obviously, you would be able to spin the wheel to the rear and check if it rubbed on anything behind this pivot point, and then also check it against the fender. We have no issue with our fender just because it's so big. But that's the process today, working on trying to figure out wheels and tires, and I'll let you know what I come up with. Okay, I'm back. I looked at wheels that were available online and actually worked with a guy that runs a Meineke franchise. And my main goal was to get something that looked okay for the truck, but I want to put 10-inch wheels on the back if possible for a wider tire, and then go with a regular width up front. And that's part of what steered me to the 15-inch wheel. So we're looking at a 15-inch wheel, and what I have it set at right now, it's a little difficult to see the numbers, but I have it set on an 8.5-inch wide rim. So if you take a ruler and basically lay it across the width of this, you can see that I'm essentially at 8.5. So that's what we're playing with at this point. And if I go ahead and rotate that, you can see how close a tire would get to the frame. So if I take a small ruler and lay it on plane with that, I can actually then get an idea of how long, or tall I should say, a tire I could put on this. And what I've come up with on an 8.5 wide rim is only 4.5 inches of tire height, the way it's set up right now. And this is with the wheel being at 0 offset, meaning that the mounting surface for the tire is essentially right in the middle of the wheel. And when I say tire, I should say for the wheel itself. So the mounting surface is basically in the middle of the wheel. So you would have 4.25 on one side and 4.25 on the other. Now you are able to get various offsets. Positive offsets would basically move the mounting surface out, and a negative offset moves it this direction or towards the frame. In our case, we'd prefer a negative offset to give us the option for a larger tire. And in the 15 in the wheel that I'm looking at, there is a 25mm negative offset available. So I'll go ahead and set this up with that size, and we'll see what difference it makes in how big a tire I can use. I've gone ahead and set the gauge up with a 25mm negative offset. And what that means is I've taken that midpoint for the 8.5-inch tire and I've moved it out 25mm. And what that does is it moves the inside of our tire further away from the frame. So you can see I've put the small ruler on there. You can see that right now we can run a 6-inch tire. Comparatively speaking, when we had it on a 0 offset, we only had 4.5 inches of space available for a tire. Now you'll notice that all I'm doing is looking at the inside potential contact area for this wheel and tire combination. The reason I'm doing that is because I have these giant fenders and really have no concerns at all that I'm going to end up with rubbing as the tire comes towards us or as you turn outward. In a conventional setup, you'd be very wise to consider both of them. So what you would do is basically set your measurement up so that you had the 6 inches on this side, and then you would make the swings to make sure that you weren't going to have a problem. I hope that helps.